Um, Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Wakal Kadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, preaching this word truthfully and sincerely. And shalom to the Akim, scattered through the four corners of the globe, preaching the word truthfully and sincerely. And shalom to the Akim, that be like unto the speckled bird, preaching the word truthfully and sincerely. And I say shalom to your Akim out there. And this is another sit-down lesson for In the News through the Spirit, Power, Grace, and Mercy of the Hawaii Shai on this August the 30th, 2022 at 7:29 p.m. Central Standard Time. And this news article from CNNBC.com was published by Tatum Mitchell and Jess Powell, updated August the 30th, 2022 at 5:15 p.m. And a highlight of this news article, and it reads from CNNBC.com, and it reads, stocks extend their losing streak a third day, Dow Jones down negative 300 points. It says the stocks fell a third day on Tuesday as jeopardizing a summer comeback rally as the Federal Reserves and other global central banks continues to single they will raise their interest rates to squash the inflation despite the negative consequences for the economic growth and potential corporate profits. The S&P 500 fell 1.1 to 3,986.16, dropping below 4,000 points level for the first time since July. The Nasdaq Composite lost 1.1 to close to 11,883.14 points. Meanwhile, the Dow Jones average slides negative 308.12 points, nearly a 1% to 31,790.87. Right, because this is a huge difference, because it had, I believe it was up like 32,000 yesterday. Now it went down from 32,000 to 31,000 due to the third day losing streak of the market. It says the market added to the losses that began Friday when the S&P 500 shed more than 3% in a big rout following inflation-fighting comments from Fed Chief Jerome Powell, and continued to fall this week. The benchmark comeback from its mid-June low has been cut by the benchmark comeback from mid-June low has been cut off to 8.7%. The Dow and Nasdaq have both lost more than half their gains since the middle of June and now sit below 6% and 11% respectively above their summer lows. The latest comments came from New York Federal President John Williams on Tuesday. I do think the demand far exceeding supply, and we do need to get real interest rates above zero. We need to have somewhat a restrictive policy to slow down demands, and we are not there yet, Williams told the Wall Street Journal. We still quite a few ways from there, he added. It says Williams comments about the similar sentiment voices by the European Central Bank's policy maker, the Estonian Central Bank Governor Madis Müller, who said on Tuesday the central banks the central bank should discuss a 75 base point rate hike in September, gives an exceptional higher inflation. A short-term rate continues their march higher as investors be more rate heights. The 2-year Treasury yield tops its highest nearly in 15 years. The markets are fragile, and our hawkish reception by the Fed Friday shows that they are trying to be crystal clear that the Fed pivot is not in the cards, that they are going to continue to have inflation as their number one priority, said Stephen Lane, chief investor official of Hindenburg. They narrow is going to continue to pull pressure on the market. We are going to have a lot of volatile into year end. She added that all eyes on the Friday jobs report, but a strong number would just mean more of the same rhetoric from the federal in the terms of commitments to the lower inflation. We are trickling junction, but I don't think one particular data points is going to give relief to the market. Lang said, you are going to need to see several months of the actual inflation data continues to move down for the feds to feel any little of comfort. Energy prices eased on Tuesday with West Texas and intermediate futures with the U.S. oil benchmark falling more than 5%. Natural gas's future is also dipped. The S&P 500 closes 1% lower, cutting its summer rally by half. The S&P 500 fails 1.1 to 3,986.16, below the 4,000 level for the first time since July. So yeah, that goes to show you that the Babylon is consistently falling on an everyday basis. And this is the third day, and I did a video on this yesterday, mentioned that potentially, this creek is going to continue. Now this is another day entering in the third day, which is, this is the second week of the Wall Street, the stock for this week. And now you're hearing from the Federal Reserve, now they're waiting for the Friday jobs report to come in, to see if they add more jobs, to see if the employment rate down, to see what's happening globally, what's happening with the inflation, the oil, gas production, see how that's going to react, see if the stocks is going to react to a negative perspective or a positive perspective, As you see, it's still going to continue to see the consumer prices consistently going up. The cost of living is constantly going up. The cost of foods and goods and products and everything else, all is going to consistently go up. And now you got the Federal Reserve once again, still contemplating if they're going to continue to increase the interest rate. And hopefully, once again, like I mentioned before, see if it's going to be continuing and increasingly maneuver ways to decrease the inflation, to ease the market and to the economy as well, too. They say even though if it takes for the economy to be very low and in the decline as well, too, So they just basically just worrying about how the stocks is gonna be back to the normal gain like how it's supposed to be after that summer rally of gains that they had, as that rally streak has ended. Now you got the Dow Jones, the Nasdaq, and the S&P 500 into the negatives area for the third time in the second day of this week, starting afresh of the new week of the Wall Street, as the Federal Reserve is still going to continue to raise interest rates. Federal high tax interest rates going to increase, and they still trying to see ways to see if the inflation eases even if it costs the economy, because the economy goes into the stocks and markets as well too. So yeah, hey, that's gonna see if this trend continues on the streak for the fourth day tomorrow. That's to be determined. But as of right now, hey, modern day Babylon is falling on the economic scale with these stocks and bonds, and so we're gonna see as they wait for the job reports on Friday and what's going on globally with the inflation, the oil production prices, even though they're still continues to decline more than a month or two now. And I'm gonna bring out some scriptures, as I always normally bring out the scriptures. Once again, Dow Jones falls for the third straight time. KJV 51-8. Jeremiah 51-7. Babylon has been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. Right, because the nations don't want to follow modern day Babylon no more. As you see, they continue to pull the weight, just like with the Beijing versus Washington and China versus the United States, with the current, what's been happening all through the month of July and August as well too, with the tensions over the Taiwan Strait, over the South China Sea and the Taiwan Island as well too. That situation, that war, rumor of war, and the nation rise against nation, that scenario, as you have China cut diplomatic ties and military ties from the United States, and economic ties as well too. And you have China, Russia, and India escaping away from the American dollar, even though the American dollar has higher value right now. It's been the highest since the 1980s, I believe. But very soon, all that's going to change, because you're going to have the MOTB, which is recorded in the book of Revelations 13, verse 17 and verse 18. Because once that everything is going to be fully digital, that paper dollar is not going to be no more. It's going to be no more high value as it currently is right now. Hey, modern day Babylon is falling, and these nations are not drunken off the philosophies and following the ways of Western society. The nations are backing away from that on an economic scale and an influence scale as well too. The nations are mad at modern day Babylon, and they separating their ways from the philosophies and the drunkenness of the philosophies of modern day Babylon. As you're starting to see it, And I'm going to go to the next verse. Jeremiah 51-8. Babylon is suddenly falling and destroyed. Howl for her. Take bond for her pain, if so she may be healed. Right, because modern day Babylon is not going to be healed, especially in the economic sense. Even though it sounds like a broken record player, it sounds like that. But it's true though, it's true. As you see the continued cost of living, the continual food prices going up, the gas prices going up, even though you have gas prices still high in many places in the United States, especially like the big cities, Chicago, New York, and LA, Miami, Texas, Florida, you name it, even though gas prices globally around the world is kind of going down a little bit. But here in the United States, you have like certain places, the gas are still very high, The inflation rates still have an impact on these stores, with the high consumer prices is definitely still going to go up. I believe during this fall and winter, in the new quarter entering in, you're gonna most likely definitely see a continual increase of consumer spending, inflation, and the gas prices and everything constantly, consistently going up as well too. It's not going to affect here in modern day Babylon. It's going to affect globally as well too. So this trend is definitely going to continue. And I'm gonna go to Revelations 18:2. Then I'm gonna close out the lesson for today. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 18, verse 2, and it reads, "And he cried with a mighty strong voice, saying, Babylon the great is fallen, it is fallen, and it's become a habitation of devils, and a hole of every foul spirit, and a cave of every unclean for hateful bird." Right. This modern day Babylon is constantly, consistently falling on the economic scale as we see it through the months, the days, and the years as it progresses on. Of the stocks markets keep on crashing, and it affects the economy as well too, of everything constantly, consistently going up. Gas prices, inflation, consumer spending, you name it. The housing market, the economy, even though they might add more jobs, or the employment rate might go down. The labor force is kind of somewhat okay, but you still got homeless people here in America. You got homeless at an all-time rate like never before, in American history, while Biden administration is sending all millions and billions over there to Taiwan as well too, while you have the American citizens being the poorest since the American history. It is skyrocketing, the skyrocketing inflation rate, the skyrocketing of the gas prices, even though both of them, the inflation and the gas prices decreasing. You still got the consumer spending, skyrocketing food prices, skyrocketing cost of living, skyrocketing of skyrocketing of the expensive standard of living, and affecting the American citizens, even though the middle class and the lower class, even in the upper classes, it's affecting them as well too, just to get by, to be able to manage to save money and to pay your bills and stuff like that, to maintain, have a roof over your head, to maintain, have food on the table, to maintain, have clothes on your back, you name it, etc. So it shows you continuing signs of modern day Babylon's fall. It is going to continue to fall, but we're going to see this continuing trend of the Wall Street for the third day lost its gain for the third time in the second day of this week. We're going to see this trend continues. And so with that, I hope this sit-down lesson was edifying through the spirit, power, grace, and mercy of Yahweh Yahushua. And first and foremost, I'd like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Makakadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, preaching His word truthfully and sincerely. Shalom to the Akim, scattered through the four corners of the globe, preaching the word truthfully and sincerely. And shalom to the Akim, that be like unto the speckled bird, preaching the word truthfully and sincerely. And until next time, I will say shalom and above the ball.